Hey there berries, welcome to my Final Fantasy 14 Dawntrail July Gil making guide. This will be relevant before the Savage stuff comes out, but there's going to be a lot of stuff here that will still be making money, if not more money, once that Savage raid gets unlocked for all those raiders at the end of the month. Now this guide will cover all aspects, no matter if you're mining, botany, crafting, or just want to kill stuff in order to make money. So there's something here for everyone, but as you would expect at the start of an expansion, gathering and crafting is topping the gold charts, but that's not to say there aren't a couple of things actually in combat that will get you a lot of money per hour. Now starting off with the very low level gathering stuff and the market board, so this is like if you've only got like level 30 in gathering ish, then and you just want some money like right now. We have crystals. Crystals are doing absolutely fantastic right now. So we have fire crystals are topping at the moment at 162-ish gil. But we also have wind crystals. So wind crystals are also around the same price at 162 gil as well. Lightning is 110, water 95, and ice 69. And earth at 58. So wind and fire are really sticking out in terms of prices right now. Prices have basically doubled since Endwalker. Prices have gone up. You can also tell your retainers if your retainer is a miner or botanist and isn't high enough level to do some of these other gatherables that I'm about to mention. And this will be really good money for yourself to either save on your own crafts or just to put straight back on to the market board. Now moving into some slightly higher level gathering stuff. We have peppermint is topping the chart right now. Really in terms of the lower level gatherables. This is a level 75 gatherable timed node. So you probably really want to be around about level 80 in order to gather this. And the peppermint is going for 6.5 gil per. Once again, it's a time node. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to get to, but there is a massive amount of profit to be made here. Mainly because this is used in a couple of potions, I believe, and like CP tinctures and things like that. So expect the price of this also to, this may seem high, but I think this might go up in price. So it is worth maybe gathering a bunch, maybe keep some in your bank if you want to as well, if you want to do a bit of investment gambling. But peppermint is looking like a really good timed node to gather for raw cash right now. Now, if you don't have time for time nodes and you're still not level 90 plus yet, there are a couple of fantastic Endwalker gatherables to get because they're used in the later crafts. In particular, I'm just going to show that a lot of people are crafting right now the tacos, which is good to collectibles. So these tacos people are crafting from Culinarian in order to get the best scripts in the game, the orange crafting scripts. As you can see, I've got a crap ton of materials here myself, and we will be looking at these. So the dark rye is a level 82 or 83, I believe, gatherable in Endwalker. The dark rye itself is going at roughly 2,000 gil each, and yep, that's pretty stable too. Look how often people are purchasing those. Every couple of minutes someone has been purchasing them, so around about 2,000 gil per on dark rye. If you are level 100 or, you know, maybe just like level 90 plus, you're probably going to be getting 2 rye per click, which means per node you're looking at a minimum of 8,000 gil per node without using your abilities. If you're using abilities, we're talking probably around about 13,000 gil per, I want to say per minute. It's filthy right now. It's really disgusting. If you're crafting too, you could potentially craft those into the dark rye flour. The return on that isn't super terrible. The main cost here is actually going to be the fire crystals, because 8 fire crystals would roughly use around about, some quick maths here, around about 1,300 gil. Plus then you got the 6 dark rye as well, but you are getting 3 in return. So you could, if you're a crafter, you could try and like manage out a little bit the materials of dark rye that you're selling out, so you're not completely flooding with just the dark rye. If you do quick synthesis on this as well, going to get a marginal amount of spirit bonding on your gear. And then also, if you get the high quality ones, you can either keep them for your own crafts, or you can try and sell them on the market board as well. Most people are looking to buy the high quality one because this is being used for the collectible. In fact, it's the only item that you can use high quality in the collectible. So people are using the high quality right in order to get to that 15% mark on their quality for their crafts. So it could be worth quick synthesizing, selling the blanks, keeping the high quality yourself. It's up to you, but that's an idea in terms of like distributing your assets essentially. If you don't have botany up, then I do have a mining option for you, although it is not quite as good as the Darkrai. It's about half the value. It's the ambrosial water, which I believe I want to say is from Elpis. So pretty decent amount there. I mean, it's still really good at 1090 gil per knock there. Prices, you know, they're selling at a very, very common rate right now. So 1090 gil for the water. You can maybe go to both areas and once again distribute your assets as well. Very, very easy to get loads of procs there because it is a lower level node if you are already level 100. Now in Dawntrail, if you'd rather stick in Dawntrail and maybe get some extra spirit bonding percentage on your gear for material extraction, we have for mining, we have the white gold ore is doing particularly well right now. So white gold ore is selling at around about 1900 per, and once again all of this is selling at a very common, like reasonable intervals. So 1900 at the moment for the white gold ore for mining. And then once again though, botany is kind of pretty good right now. So we've got pearl grass is standing out right now. Don't think many people are actually aware of this one. I don't think this one market is as flooded. Maybe after this video that might change. It's pretty common still on the intervals. It doesn't sell quite as often as some of the others, but the pearl grass is used in a few alchemy things here. So like the CP Cunning Craftsman Tisane, that people will be using that and stocking up on that for savage crafting later on to the month. The pearl grass and the peppermint once again here, very expensive recipe this one. And then I think we got the mind potion here as well, also uses pearl grass. So there are a few recipes that this is used in. Is there anything else here? Oh, also the craftsman one as well. So the craftsman, the control, is it anyway, the crafting potions are basically used from the pearl grass. So I think people are stockpiling that at the moment. So do be aware that the prices could go up and down pretty erratically over the next couple of weeks. Something more stable because of the recipe that we were talking about earlier is the white pepper. Now if you go back to the taco recipe, the white pepper recipe only uses 1 white pepper, whereas it uses 2 garlic. So the white pepper prices are slightly lower at 1.8k, and the garlic is sitting at 2k. Now these ones are pretty good to go for. The garlic is more flooded, as you would expect, because you know people going saying, oh yeah, you need 2 garlics for that recipe, double the amount. It means double the amount of sales, which is partially true, but you are going to be contesting with probably more people here in terms of actually selling the goods. So do maybe distribute both getting white and the garlic. But yeah, generally any recipe here, an ingredient here in this taco recipe is really, really good to get. And before we start talking about like the chunks here, for example, we're going to go into ethereal reduction since we're still on the kind of gathering category right now. So if we have a look at, I want to have a look at this Sunglit Ether Sand, but apparently I typed it in wrong. Let's try again. There we go. So Sunglit Ether Sand, this is the only Ether Sand in Dawntrail right now that can actually be used in any of the recipes. So Sunglit Ether Sand is used in all of these grade 1 potions. And that is the only thing. So people are stockpiling the sand in order to make the potions. Also, there'll probably be more recipe usages once that savage patch hits, once that new gear gets released. I highly imagine that the Sunglit Ether Sand will be used. Next we have very noisy neighbors here, so I'm just going to actually turn down the sound effects here. So ether sand here is doing pretty well. There are 3 other kinds of ether sand right now, which are available to gather right now, but I mean, they have pretty hefty prices, as you can see, but nobody's really buying them right now. It's because we don't really know necessarily what recipes these are going to be converted into, because we don't have that information right now, but it's likely that all the other ether sands will be used. We have the myth brine, which is going for 20k each. You get that from Shaluni spearfishing. You also get ice crystals and clusters from this, but as mentioned earlier, the ice crystals aren't fantastic, so not necessarily a higher priority to gather those ones. We've also got Mythroot Ether Sand, which will also provide you it's from the volcanic grass, and that's from fire clusters and crystals. So if you have the time to go and get this, you're going to get a lot of fire crystals and clusters, and as mentioned before, the fire crystals in particular are going for a lot of money right now at around about 160 gil per. So ethereal reduction is going to be worth it. Also, the other one is for wind crystals as well, which is the myth loam. You get that from bright wind ore, also going at a reasonable price at the moment, but once again not really being sold, but you do get loads of wind crystals and clusters. So if you are going to go for these other ether sands, I would highly recommend just holding on to them for the next couple of weeks. I don't think many people are going to be gathering them unless they're preparing for Dawntrail Savage drop, and they're going to be hoarding them for themselves. And then once the patch hits, I imagine a lot of these more like difficult recipes are going to be using the ether sand. So it is 100% worth stockpiling them, and I imagine the prices of those will be going up in a few weeks' time. Next, we have materia. So this is something that everyone can take part in and do. First, we're going to talk about the craftsman materia, because that is probably the best in terms of money making right now, just purely because of the taco recipe that we were talking about earlier. This taco recipe gets a decent amount of spirit bonding. I do have a video on that actually as well, so you can do that in one macro as long as you've got high quality dark rye flour. Spirit bonding rate is pretty reasonable from doing that, or you can choose to do quick synthesis on pretty much any level 99, level 100 kind of like buy material in order to get as much spirit bonding through as possible. But as you can see, all the materia 12 is going for a lot of money in both in terms of crafting and gathering. If we have a quick look at gathering, the only gathering one that isn't doing well is the GP. I think the GP one is struggling a little bit. Take a very quick look at that. I think it's grasp, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So grasp 12 is only going for 16k. Could be worth picking up some of these. Some of the melts when we get the new gear will probably likely, I'd imagine, use 1 or 2 GP11s in the gear slotted. So it could totally be worth picking up a few while they get cheap. They're probably going to get cheaper over time. So if they end up going into like the below 10k, it might be worth holding maybe about 30, 40. And then potentially these will go back up in price. I imagine people will probably buy out a chunk of these and hoard them and then sell them later on. Now, battle materia, you got your kind of standard combat materia that's doing pretty reasonable right now, considering how easy they are to get. So Savage, which is your crit, is going for 20,000 per at the moment. And once again, people are going to be stockpiling these because once you do crafting battle gear, you can pentameld, and these will go through the roof. So they are selling for a reasonable amount right now, like 21k per and stuff. But I actually fully expect these to even go up in price, especially on the first couple of days when that patch hits. Type that in wrong. Is that going to work if I do that? There we go. Yeah, 21k for the direct hit materia. I expect these to potentially go up in price. So once again, if you want to take that gamble or not, but still 21k per materia is still a really, really good price. You can get these materia from Spirit Bonding or level 100 gear. You can get these from the clusters, if I have any. Yeah, I do. So these cracked Nova clusters, you can choose what you get from those. There's actually like a materia vendor in the main city in Dawntrail. Just go up to them, hand them in, choose what material you want, and you can either get the most expensive one, check the prices before obviously picking one up, selling them on the auction house, or just using them from your own means. But taking part in hunt trains where there's a massive group of people going to each hunt, if you get max on that, generally you're getting 1 Nova cluster per one. Also, you're getting nuts from doing hunt trains as well, which can also be handed in for specific materia. So the decent-ish amount of money to be made from doing the hunts. You've also got fates as well. Now fates are insane right now, so if you don't have gathering or crafting right now, you can basically make around about 18,000 gil per fate. Yeah, you heard that right. It is pretty boring to do, but I was going around on my white mage. My white mage is now level 97.5. I've probably spent about 3-4 hours doing fates, 3 to 4 hours doing fates in Dawntrail. Completed 3 of the regions, Kozama, Yaktal, and Shaloni. Right now, I highly recommend, there's 2 ingredients right now to spend your bicolor gems on. So you've got the recipe that we were looking at earlier, the Ron Eek Chucks, because people are going to be using those. It's likely that the price of these will go down slowly over time, but there's a chance it might pick up again with food buffs and stuff like that when Savage Hits drops as well. So I think 3.2k is a pretty good price for it right now. That would give you 18,000 gil on average per fate. So it costs 3 gems to buy one of these chucks, and you're getting around about 18 bicolor gems on average per fate. So maybe even a bit more, to be honest. So 18,000 gil per fate is very, very insane. Once again, you can tell your retainers to go get these as well. I think it's at level 95 or level 96 your retainers can gather 5 of these extra per hour. So you can get, just from doing nothing at all, if you've got 2 combat retainers, you can get about 30k gil per hour just from telling them to get these. You can also manually kill these if you want, but I would highly recommend not to do that. Just do the fates, so you're not relying on RNG drop rates. Another item to potentially keep your eye out on to this too as well, especially if the prices of the chucks do go down, is the Tumbleclaw weeds. I'm expecting these to go up a lot in price when Dawntrail does hit. Some of these people have put these at a lower price, so I think I'm actually kind of tempted to pick up those for 1.2k. But yeah, generally it's been around about 2.2k on the prices here, around about 2k. I'm expecting this to go up though. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the consumables do use Tumbleclaw weeds. Once again, another idea to A, check, and maybe B, even considering stockpiling on as well. I just expect them to go up in price a lot, because crafters are going to need them, and the battle people are going to be needing them when Savage hits. So they're going to be chugging potions like crazy. And that's really it. That kind of covers all kind of 3 categories of combat, crafting, and gathering. Spirit bonding right now is probably, and gathering is probably the best amount of money they're going to be making per hour overall. But also the bicolor gems are also super good. There's just a lot of different ways right now to make a lot of money. So highly recommend every single thing I just mentioned there, depending on what you're doing. It's just, the difference between the guild making, I think, is a little bit marginal. I think gathering and crafting just edges over slightly, just because you can spirit bond the material off of your gear, and that material is going for an insane amount of money right now. Once material prices potentially go down a little bit, you could end up seeing that the fates actually could end up being a little bit better than some of the other things that I mentioned, because people generally don't really like doing fates too much. They are kind of boring, but if you are able to do it, it is a lot of money per hour. I worked out yesterday I was making about 700 to 800,000 gil per hour, just for the value of the chucks. So yeah, all the best berries. Hope the guide helps you. I'll be making another guild making guide probably around about at the very late July / very early August, to keep you up to date on what you should be looking at in order to be making money in the game. All the best. Good luck. Bye.